Tiger story. Once upon a time there were 3 tigers. Daddy tiger, mummy tiger and baby tiger. One day, baby tiger turned to his parents, "I'm bored eating gazelles and antelopes. I want to eat something else." "What dear?" his mother asked. "I want chocolate." "Chocolate?" "Yes, chocolate. I've heard it's very nice." "Who told you that?" "Nobody. I just heard it, that's all." "Have you been hanging about with those panthers again?" "I've told you about those panthers. They're no good." "No, it wasn't from the panthers. I just heard it, that's all." "Can I have some chocolate?" "I'll ask your father when he gets in from hunting." Surprisingly, Daddy Tiger was all for going and getting some chocolate. "It would be good for our son to see a bit more of the jungle," he replied. "Where do we get chocolate then?" Mother Tiger asked. "Well, there's a shop on the edge of the jungle. They've got all sorts of things and they're bound to have chocolate." "All right," Mother replied in a way that would have been cagey, except she didn't like cages. The 3 tigers walked to the edge of the jungle to where there was a shop. "How do we get the chocolate?" Baby Tiger asked. "Go in and get it," Daddy Tiger said. He walked up to the shop and the doors slid open. Suddenly there were screams of "Tiger" and "Help" and "Oh no," and all the humans ran out of the shop via the back door. Daddy Tiger walked back out the front of the shop. "Now, I think we can get some stuff now. All the people have kindly left." "Where's the chocolate?" Baby Tiger asked as they entered the shop. "Over here, I think," Mummy Tiger replied, looking at a counter. But Baby Tiger was no longer listening. He had found a trolley. "Push me, push me, push me," he shouted, jumping in. "What are all these things?" Mummy Tiger asked as she wandered round the shop. "I don't know," Daddy Tiger replied, beginning to push the trolley. "Just throw them into the trolley. We can sort it all out when we get home." So the 3 tigers ran round the shop throwing various things into the trolley while Baby Tiger rode as they skidded round the corners. Soon the trolley was full of stuff. "What do we do now?" Mummy Tiger asked. Daddy Tiger would have shrugged his shoulders in reply if he knew how to do it, but he said, "Go up to the tills," in reply. The 3 tigers went up to the tills and Mummy Tiger jumped onto the counter. "Now what?" she asked. "You open the tills and put something in it." "What sort of thing?" "I don't know. See what's already in it." Mummy Tiger then used her claws to try and open the till. It fell on the floor. "Oops," she said as piles of paper and round pieces of metal fell out. "Well, I don't have any round pieces of metal," Daddy Tiger said. "We could take some of the paper off the other things and leave them in the till," Mummy suggested. "Is this chocolate?" Baby Tiger asked, picking up a twirl. "I think so," Daddy Tiger replied. "Why don't we take the paper off the chocolate and put them in the till?" Baby suggested. "Good idea," Mummy Tiger replied. So the 3 tigers started unwrapping chocolate bars until they had 2 piles, one of chocolate and the other of paper. "Right, help me put the till back on the counter," Daddy Tiger said. So the 2 grown-up tigers started tiger handling the till back onto the counter. Meanwhile, Baby Tiger just stared at the slightly melting pile of chocolate. "Here goes," Baby Tiger said, and he buried his head in the chocolate. "Yuck, chocolate is horrible. I don't like it." "Never mind, son," Mummy Tiger said. "Remember, we're tigers and we eat gazelles and antelopes, not chocolate. Get back into the trolley, we'll push you back through the jungle." So Baby Tiger sat on the front of the trolley with a saucepan on his head while his 2 parents pushed him through the car park and to the edge of the jungle where the wheels of the trolley got stuck in the mud. "We'll just have to carry stuff from here," Daddy Tiger said. So the 3 tigers unloaded the contents of the trolley and struggled back to their tiger home in the jungle. "What do you want for tea?" Mummy Tiger asked. "Gazelle or antelope?" "What about ice cream?" Baby Tiger replied. "I've heard that's very nice." "The lost wallet." "I stumbled on a wallet someone had lost in the street. Wanting to find the owner, I opened it, but it only contained $3 and an old crumpled envelope. I opened the letter and saw a return address and date line 1924. It had been written 60 years ago. It was signed Henna. I called information. Maybe there was a phone listing for the address. The operator hesitantly told me there was a number, but the best she could do was call it and see if they wanted to be connected. I learned that Henna was now living in a nursing home and was given the number. It seemed silly wanting to contact someone over a letter written 60 years ago, but I felt impelled. I was told that Henna was there, and though it was fairly late, I followed my instinct and went to see her. She was a sweet silver-haired lady with a warm smile and a twinkle in her eye. One told her about finding the wallet and showed her the letter. She took a deep breath and said, "Young man, this letter was the last contact I ever had with Michael. Michael, she said softly. I loved him very much. But I was only 16 at the time, and my mother felt I was too young. If you should find him, tell him I still love him. With tears in her eyes, she told me she had never married because no one had matched up to him in her heart. I thanked her and left. As I was waiting by the elevator, the nurse there asked, was Hannah able to help you? I'd taken out the wallet as she was speaking and she said, hey, wait a minute, that's Michael Goldstein's wallet. I'd recognize it anywhere. He's always losing it. My hands began to shake. Who's Michael Goldstein? I asked. One of the residents on the 8th floor. That's his wallet for sure. I dashed up to the 8th floor and the nurse on duty told me he was still in the day room. We went into the day room and as soon as Michael saw the wallet, a smile of relief crossed his face. I confessed I'd read the letter in an attempt to find the owner of the wallet. The smile on his face disappeared. But I think you'll be happy I did, I said. I think I know where Hannah is. He grew pale. Where is she? How is she? Please tell me, he begged. She's fine, I said quietly. I was so in love with that girl, and when that letter came, my life came to a halt. I never married. I guess I've always loved her. I asked him to come with me and took him down to the 3rd floor where Hannah was sitting alone, watching television. The floor nurse pointed to Michael. Do you know this man, Hannah? She adjusted her glasses but didn't speak. Michael whispered, Hannah, it's me, Michael. Do you remember me? She gasped. Michael, I don't believe it. It's you, my Michael. They walked towards one another and embraced. The nurse and I left with tears streaming down our faces. About 3 weeks later, I got a call from the nursing home. Can you break away on Sunday to attend a wedding? Michael and Hannah are going to tie the knot. It was a beautiful wedding with all the people at the nursing home joining in the celebration. I was the best man. The hospital gave them their own room, and if you ever wanted to see a 76-year-old bride and a 79-year-old groom acting like two teenagers, you had to see this couple. A perfect ending for a love affair that had lasted nearly 60 years. Why the sky is far away. Raman looked at the food in his lunch box and made a face. Idli and chutney and idli again, he said to his friend Bheem. Bheem gave his own lunch a critical look and frowned. You think that's bad? He said. I've got bread and jam again. It's the 3rd time this week. They pushed the food aside. We can get something at the burger place after school, Raman said. They concentrated on studying for their English test instead of eating. English was next period and Mr. Frank had a reputation for giving difficult tests. When the bell rang, they dropped their uneaten lunches into the garbage. Mr. Frank was standing nearby. Not hungry, guys? He asked. They shook their heads and hurried off to class. When the test was over, there was still 10 minutes left in the period. Mr. Frank stood at the front of the class. Before you leave today, he said, leaning against the desk, I'd like to share an old African folktale with you. I think you'll find this one interesting. It's called Why the Sky is Far Away. Long ago, the sky was close to the earth. Men and women did not have to plant their own food. Instead, when they were hungry, they just reached up and broke off a piece of the sky to eat. Sometimes the sky tasted like ripe bananas. Other times it tasted like roasted potatoes. The sky was always delicious. People spent their time making beautiful cloth. They painted beautiful pictures and sang songs at night. The Grand King, Oba, had a wonderful palace. His servants made beautiful shapes out of pieces of sky. Many people in the kingdom did not use the gift of the sky wisely. When they took more than they could eat, the sky became angry. Some people threw the extra pieces into the garbage. Early one morning, the angry sky turned dark. Black clouds hung over the land, and a great sky voice said to all the people, you are wasting my gift of food. Do not take more than you can eat. I don't want to see pieces of me in the garbage anymore, or I will take my gift away. The king and the people trembled with fear. King Oba said, let's be careful about how much food we take. For a long time, all the people were careful, but one man named Admi wasn't careful. At festival time, he took so many delicious pieces of sky that he couldn't eat them all. He knew he must not throw them away. He tried to give the pieces to his wife. Here, wife, Admi said, you eat the rest. I can't, Admi's wife said. I'm too full. Admi asked all his children to help him eat the delicious pieces of sky, but the children couldn't eat one more bite. So Admi decided to try to hide the pieces at the bottom of the garbage pile. Suddenly, the sky became angry and the clouds turned black. You have wasted my gift of food again, yelled the sky. This time I will go away so you cannot waste me anymore. All of the people cried, what will we eat? We might starve. The sky said, you will have to learn how to plant crops instead. in the ground and hunt in the forests. If you work hard, you may learn not to waste the gifts of nature. Everyone watched as the sky sailed away. From that time on, they worked hard to grow their food and cook their meals. They always tried to remember not to waste the gifts of nature. The bell rang for the next period. That's the end, Mr. Frank said, smiling. He looked at Raman and Bean. What did you think of the story? He asked. They slouched in their chairs and looked apologetic. We get the message, they said, smiling. No more lunches in the garbage. The Lamb and the Wolf. Once there was a naughty lamb. His mother always loved her child so much that she worried about the safety of the child. His mother always warned him, be careful. You must not go into the forest. Wild animals live in there. They may threaten you. Sometimes they would eat you. But the mischievous lamb never listened. The lamb casually went into the forest and played there for a long time till it turned dark in the evening. One day, as usual, the lamb wandered far off into the forest. There he saw a spring. I am thirsty. Let me drink some water, he thought. He decided to take water from the spring for his thirsty. While the lamb was drinking water in the spring, a wolf watched from behind a tree. A lamb, my lucky day, the wolf thought, approaching the lamb. The lamb was not aware of the wolf for some time. There was no one besides these two animals to save the lamb from the wolf. You know this forest belongs only to wild animals like me. Why have you come in here to take water from this spring? Asked the wolf. The lamb knew that wolves were dangerous animals. Mother has warned me about wolves. I am sure this fellow wants to eat me for his lunch. This fellow is ferocious. I must escape from this animal, he thought. The wolf continued, you are also dirtying water. How will I drink this polluted water now? But the spring flows from where you are standing down to where I am standing, sir, said the lamb in a meek voice. The wolf was surprised to hear such an intelligent answer from the lamb. But the wolf was just looking for an excuse to kill the lamb. How dare you argue with me? I think you are the same lamb who had abused me last year, the wolf shouted. Last year? But sir, I was not even born then, the lamb squeaked. The lamb feared that the wolf was looking after a pretext to kill the lamb. The lamb became cautious of its words and gestures. This way both the lamb and the wolf talked to each other cautiously. The lamb heard some woodcutters. They were coming the way in which the lamb and the wolf was standing. If I can keep talking to this wolf for a little while longer, the woodcutters will be here. They will chase him away, thought the clever lamb. So, he said, Mr. Wolf, you are right. I have dirtied the water, but I did not mean to upset you. This way the lamb kept on talking for few more minutes. As the lamb spoke, the woodcutters arrived. They saw both the lamb and the wolf. They caught the wolf and beat him before letting him go. The lamb was relieved to be safe. He ran back to his mother. He told her his mother what had happened in the forest with the wolf and the woodcutter. And then he promised his mother never to wander into the forest again. Reward for bravery. There was once a kind duke. He was loved and respected by his subjects. This duke had a wicked brother. His name was Frederick. Frederick rebelled against his brother. He drove away the duke. The duke was a peace-loving person. He left the dukedom. He went to the forest called Arden. His followers also went with him. There he led a peaceful life with his followers. Frederick became the duke. The duke had a daughter. Her name was Rosalind. Frederick also had a daughter. Her name was Celia. Rosalind and Celia were fond each other from their childhood. Celia wanted Rosalind to be with her in the palace. Frederick allowed Rosalind to be in the palace with his daughter. This was for the sake of his own daughter, Celia. Sir Roland de Boys was friend of the elder duke who was in the forest. Sir Roland died leaving all his property to his eldest son whose name was Oliver. Oliver was jealous of his younger brother whose name was Orlando. Oliver did not give any part of the property or money to Orlando. He did not even educate Orlando either. In Duke Frederick's court, there was a powerful wrestler. His name was Charles. No young man dared to challenge Charles, but Orlando accepted the challenge. Oliver met Charles secretly. He instructed Charles to do the worst to Orlando. At the wrestling place there were many people. Duke Frederick was also there. In the earlier matches, Charles threw little challengers one after another. All the three challengers had broken their ribs. They were struggling for life. Celia and Rosalind also had come there. Duke Frederick asked the girls to talk to the young man, Orlando. Frederick had felt that Charles would throw Orlando down in the fight. The girls approached Orlando. They requested him not to fight. Orlando refused gently. He said, "I have no one to care for me. I do not care even to die." The match began. Orlando was much stronger than Charles. Orlando lifted Charles above his shoulders. Then he threw him down. Charles became unconscious after falling. Frederick and all others were happy. They congratulated Orlando. Orlando told Frederick, "I am the second son of late Sir Roland D. Boyce." Frederick did not like Orlando from that minute onwards because Frederick had not liked Sir Roland D. Boyce. The two girls on the contrary praised Orlando. Rosalind was happy. Sir Roland had been her father's friend. She then took out a chain from her neck and presented it to Orlando. This was the reward for his bravery. The clever bull. There was a forest with many birds and animals. Once, a bull wandering in the forest came upon a cave. Near the cave was a big pond and lush green grass. "This is an ideal place for me to settle down," the bull thought. So, he made the cave his home. Many days passed. The bull became quite healthy, grazing in the meadows. The bull was happy and peaceful living in that cave. He had made many friends in that forest. One day, the bull was resting outside his cave house. A lion happened to come by that way. The lion was happy to have spotted a bull after a long time. "Aha, a bull! He is so healthy too," thought the majestic lion, licking his lips in anticipation of a good meal. The bull too noticed the lion. He could sense danger. "I must be on my guard now," the bull thought, and decided to do something to hide himself from the lion. When the lion came close to the bull, the clever bull looked into the cave and called out, "Darling, do not cook anything for dinner. I have just spotted a lion. I am waiting for it to come near." When the lion heard the bull, he returned around and ran for his life. A jackal saw the lion running breathlessly. "Why are you running, Mr. Lion?" asked the jackal. The lion told him all that had happened. "The bull has made a fool out of you," replied the jackal. And the jackal added, "Come with me. Together we can feast on the bull." But the lion was too scared to believe the jackal. The jackal understood why the lion was hesitating to come with him. "All right then, tie your tail with mine and let me lead you to the cave of the bull. In case the bull attacks, then I will be the one who will get caught first," the jackal said. The lion agreed to this plan of action prepared by the jackal. And then the lion and the jackal tied their tails together. They set off to the bull's cave. Both the lion and the jackal went near the cave where the bull was. When the bull saw the lion coming with the jackal, he thought, "I am sure that cunning jackal knows I fooled the lion." Without panicking, the bull cried out to the jackal, "I had asked you to bring me to lions. Do you want me to keep my children hungry?" Even this time the lion did not realize that the bull was again fooling him. He was terrified. He ran as fast as he could run, dragging the jackal with him over stones and thorns. The clever bull outwitted his enemies and saved himself from its enemies. Both the lion and the jackal never returned that way. Thereafter the bull lived a peaceful and happy life with his wife and children.